Welcome back, guys. This is part one of a two-part series, and today's video we're going to be changing out these rotors on my 2018 Triumph Bonneville Bobber Black. While the bobber is still on the ground, we're going to loosen up these pinch bolts on the front forks. It will be on the right hand side, and we're going to use a hex key, a 6mm hex key. There's no need to undo them completely, just loosen them up. Loosen up the spindle bolt while the bobber is still on the ground. For this, you're going to need a 17mm hex key. Once you've done all that, it's time to use your paddock stand and get your bike up off the ground. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the brake calipers. For this, we're going to use a 12mm socket. So sorry about the wind noise in the background. I've got a fan running behind me, and every time it just oscillates and it blows past me, you get that rumbling in the background. Just wiggle the brake cable out of the cable holder. This is so that I can just tie the caliper up onto my crash bars and keep it out of the way. Do exactly the same thing for the left side brake caliper. I like using a block of wood. I slide it underneath the wheel, so when I undo the wheel won't drop all the way to the ground. So there's less of it for me to lift up. Once you've got everything in place, now just undo the rest of the spindle bolt and pull out the axle. As you can see, as soon as I pulled out the axle, the wheel is already resting on a piece of wood. Remove the wheel spacers from the left and right side of the wheels. They tend to fall out, so when you're working on the wheel, you don't want to lose them. Put them somewhere safe. You're going to need a solid platform for when you work on the wheels, so I'm going to use my old Avon tires. It's just perfect, and it just keeps the rotors off the ground. Yes, we finally get to work on the rotors now. Alright, you're going to need a Torx bit 40, and you're going to remove 5 of these bolts. I'm just going to work on one side at a time. I watched a couple of videos and I heard a couple of the mechanics say, yep, Triumph does use a shitload of Loctite. And I will admit, some of these were really hard to get out. Triumph recommends that you use new bolts, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm just basically going to clean them up, and I'm going to tap the holes and get it all tidied up and reuse the old ones. I think they're pretty good. You will need to remove these rubber dampers. You're not going to be using them once you put the Galfers on, unless you're putting on a new set of OEM disc rotors. Just a little bit of housekeeping over here since the rotors are off, because usually once the rotors are back on, it's really hard to get into these areas, so clean it up. This is the first time I've ever used a tapping tool, and I gotta say, this part gave me a little bit of anxiety. I really didn't want to wreck any of the threads in these holes, but you really got to do it because there's a lot of Loctite in these holes, and this is the only way you're going to get them out. After tapping the holes and cleaning the bolts, I tested the holes to make sure that the bolts could go all the way in and out easily. And here they are, the star of the show. My new babies. Galfer wave rotors. So cool. Over here I was just comparing the sizes and the holes with the old rotors, and yep, everything matches. So now you want to rest the new rotors onto the hub. Make sure the hole matches up, and make sure the surface is clean, the parts where they match, and put a dollop of Loctite on each of these bolts. Now try and put a lot of Loctite on. I'm just going to put a small dollop. I hope it's enough. We'll find out, eh? I'm just going to use a power tool over here to help me lightly tighten these bolts down. Make sure you use a crisscross pattern before you actually get down onto the torque wrench. Once you're ready to use the torque wrench, remember to use the crisscross pattern and torque it down to 22 Newton meters. Okay, that's one side done. Let's work on the other side. The only difference is the ABS ring. Triumph did say that the rotor bolts on this side were a little bit longer than the other side, so that's the reason why I wanted to do one side first, so I didn't mix up the bolts. So the procedure is exactly the same, so I'm going to stop talking for a little while and just let you enjoy the fast forward of this video. Okay, both rotors are on now. It's time to put the wheel back onto the bike. Don't forget the wheel spacers. Just put them in left and right. This part can get a little bit fiddly, but if you've got everything sort of set up correctly, it should be quite easy. Just need to wiggle things around a little bit. Lift up the wheel with one hand and then just slide the spindle nut or spindle bolt back in. Now you want to tighten up the spindle all the way in, but you're not going to torque it down yet until you get the bike off the paddock stand. Brake calipers go back on. And torque it down to 21 Newton meters. We're nearly at the end of the video right now, so I just wanted to say thank you for your support, and if you like the content that I produce, please give me a like and subscribe. You know, by all means leave me a comment. I do enjoy reading your comments and replying to you guys. And stay tuned for part 2 of this 2-part series, which will be based on installing the rear rotors. You'll notice that the bike is now off the paddock stand. You're gonna torque down the spindle bolt to 65 Newton meters. Last but not least, you're gonna torque up the pinch bolts. These are done last, up to 22 Newton meters. And there you have it. Galfer wave rotors. They look awesome. Catch you guys next time.